Welcome to our show, Hello Americas, What's Cooking? This is a series of live chats talking about what's happening with ICA members and associations in North and Latin America. And you can see us every Thursday here live on Facebook at 2 p.m. Eastern. Thank you all for joining us who are watching live, but also for those who will be joining us later on and watch the recording. Today, I have a special guest, namely Arnaldo Nardone, who's the Executive Director of FIEXPO from Latin America. Arnaldo, welcome to the show. Lovely to see you, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Sinia. It's a big pleasure to be with you.
And we are kicking off straight away with our first question. Last week, we had our Latin American thought leadership session. I did not understand a lot, but I actually heard a lot of great feedback, and you guys had some tremendous insights on what is happening currently with our meetings industry in Latin America. Would you be able to share some highlights from that session?
Yes, of course. Of course, that's when we speak in our own language is easier because you can expand more the ideas and you can explore many areas that sometimes when it's not your own language, it's more difficult. But I will try to share my it's not only my perspective, it's also based on studies that we have been doing in Latin America with associations, our clients, and also with our suppliers chain in general. And of course, we have been living a very difficult moment. That is not something new. It's happened in all the world, but in Latin America has been suffering a lot. And especially is suffering more now with the recovery, with the business recovery. There is a big contrast between the private sector and the public sector. The private sector, including all the professional associations, are willing to come back to face-to-face meetings as soon as possible. And we are trying to move that. But it seems that we are trying to move a sleeping elephant between, when we are talking with the politicians or maybe the people that has the power to move things from the political side. They have not understand at all what the meeting industry represents for their economies. I think that this was a big shock, not only for Latin America, for the whole world. And we have understood a lot that the politicians, especially, and the governments, didn't really understood the importance of the meeting industry in general and what it means. I mean, they don't know that we organize events under control aspects, that we have an excellent logistics, that we are not a rock and roll concert in a park, that we are trying to do for many years. We're a very good example of organization and professional from the professional side. And this has been affected a lot for the recovery. Now, when we pretend to organize an event, and this is the willing of all of us, we have always this barrier from the government saying we are not able to open the doors of our country, and most of them are closed. Just yesterday, it was a nice signal from 2 or 3 countries that say that it will accept the people that is vaccinated with not coming to the country and having to do a quarantine. This is a big step because at the moment, even if you were vaccinated, you have to present a PCR exam, and then you have to stay for 10 days in quarantine. That's crazy if you're going to organize an event. So we hope that in the next months that will change. But the main problem that we have also is the connecting flights. Most of the companies that are operating in Latin America, like LATAM, Copa, Avianca, practically they cancel most of their flights, and it's going to be very hard in the next months to recover, especially for secondary cities, not the capital cities. And also if we have most of them, probably we are not going to have the same number of flights that in the past. That is going to be really serious. The second one is that we have to continue with the protocols, but in the protocols, these people, that the government people, have to understand that we have to move ahead, slowly but ahead, changing the possibility to use with most people the meeting rooms. Now it's very, very small, the capacity that they allowed us to organize the events. Third, and it's not less, it's last but not least, most of the cities, I will say, they have not been really acknowledged that they have to pay a lot of attention for the sanitary system in the destination, because most of the people that is willing to travel is one of the most important things that they're asking for. It's not only nowadays, it's not only the infrastructure, the connection, it's also what is the response on sanitary basis for those delegates that will go to an event and have a problem. Because, even if you are vaccinated, you can be in contact with people that is sick, and maybe you also can become sick, but it's not so fair. But the good news is that most of the presidents of the associations, especially from the medical associations, all of them are vaccinated, and they have no problem to go ahead and go to the meetings. And that is a good message, even in all these problems that we are living. But another important thing is that we, the industry people, the industry professionals, we are moving on, and we are trying to do all the face-to-face meetings as soon as possible.
And you've touched on my next question so well, and I'm inviting everybody in the audience. If you have any questions or want to say hello to Arnaldo, please feel free to do so. I see you have Spanish greetings from Jair from Cancun. The importance of face-to-face meetings and that there is a light at the end of the tunnel has come up obviously during your thought leadership session, but especially for you as a trade show organizer. So what are you doing currently? What are your first face-to-face meetings and trade shows coming back?
The first face-to-face meeting is going to be the Motivation Luxury Summit. That is Fiexpo Motivation Luxury Summit. That is the new show that it was supposed to be organized on 2020 for the first time, and we postponed for 2021. That is going to be in the Chilean Patagonia in the south. It's a wonderful place, and we are going to show in there the most top 50 incentive agencies from North America and Europe. And practically is completely sold, and the show is going to happen. We have a big advantage because in Chile, that is going to be the venue in the south, Chile is is the leader in Latin America on vaccination people. Nowadays, on May, they have 67% of the population vaccinated now. So that is a warranty that the frontiers are going to be open and the place is very safe. So nothing is going to be possible to be canceled. And this first show is going to be face-to-face, at least for the first time after many months. The second one will be Fiexpo Latin America. That is our big show. And we are going to be on the 14th edition this time. And it's going to be just after ICA Congress is finishing on the same venue. Fiexpo Latin America is starting. And we have practically the same thing that is going on in Chile. We have a very good number of exhibitors, but at the same time, nowadays, we have most of the hosted buyers confirmed because they want to go. It's going to be in Cartagena. The only difference between Cartagena or Colombia and Chile is the vaccination plan, but we still have enough time, and we are very optimistic that we are going to find the destination very well on October, and so on at the end, at the 27th, and we are not going to have problems. And also we are practically, I will not say daily, but weekly conversations with the authorities from the private and public sector in Cartagena, and also with the national government with the pro-Colombia authorities. So those are going to be the two face-to-face ones for our group. And we are very optimistic because we have the clients, we have the exhibitors, and we have all the people willing to go.
I also have here greetings from our Deputy Chair of North American Chapter, Eric Chow, saying, hello, Arnaldo, so good to see you. So great to have you.
My friend Eric, and his son is a very good hockey player. Great.
So one of the things you maybe have a little bit touched on, but maybe you could elaborate a little bit more, is what are some of the biggest challenges to getting some of those face-to-face meetings back?
The big challenge is, again, what I have been explaining at the beginning of this wonderful conversation that we are having together, and is that the governments are the one that they have the key to open the destination. And it's not only from our side. We have to work very hard with them to convince them when is the precisely time that they have to open the frontiers again. Many countries are still with closed frontiers, waiting, I will say 2 or 3 months more, or 2 months more, when the vaccination will go ahead more optimistic for them. But we have still to continue working and convincing the governments because, as I have been explaining, hosted buyers, exhibitors, people from our industry, all the people is willing to be face-to-face. The only problem is the governments that they don't understand. And I remember I have been reading an article from a famous Israel, philosopher that has been saying that during these last 15 months, it shows this pandemic very clear that it was a completely successful work from the scientific side, producing a vaccine in 6 months and a half, something never expected, and a very strong fail and bad work coming from governments in general. There are some exceptions, but it has been terrible. And this is something that has come to us very clear. So the problem is there. We have to convince the public sector of how we can do things with not causing any kind of troubles for the destination and for the people that is living there. I have my own 2 vaccines on my arm, so I don't have problems. I'm not going to be a problem for any country in Latin America or in the world. But they have to understand that. And they have to understand that the meetings are very safe environments, that the meetings is the only way to reactivate their economies. The meetings are connected, or I will say in another way, there is not meeting that is not connected to an economic area. We are connected to everything. So if they open the doors, it's the only way to recover, work for the people that we need a lot, business for our infrastructure that has been built for many years ago, and we cannot continue virtual. Virtual is just for some special cases, like, for example, education, like the universities have been doing in the last 15 years, but it's not when you look for organizing communities, for have working groups, for have network, or at least to have a coffee with a colleague.
And it's unfortunately not only the economic impact and loss of meeting side. It's also the beyond economic, the knowledge transfer, the brainstorming and incubators of scientists coming together. As you said, they've gone above and beyond in working together and getting those vaccines out. There is some light at the end of the tunnel because I see Yevgenia from Riga saying hello, and 2 Eric's hockey players there. They are having their World Ice Hockey Championship. They are without an audience, but they are allowing vaccinated persons and persons who made tests visit the game. So there is some light. And Moni is asking, what, in your opinion, could we do more as an industry to educate those governments?
Well, depending in the region that you are based, is going to be different. But is always a hard task. We have been organizing, and we are coming now to the 8th in FIEXPO, to the 8th Politician Forum. We have a Politician Forum in Latin America. And every year, in the last 7 years, we have been joining the most important authorities related to, for example, tourism or economic areas, but also scientific areas. And we join all together with all our worldwide meeting industry associations, plus suppliers, etc. More or less, usually we join more or less 50 politicians in the same room, and we have an audience of 450 people asking questions, but also we have leaders talking about the business. But what is the problem? Most of the politicians don't stay too much time in their positions. They are moving, or they are removed every 2 or 3 years. And so what you have to do, we have to continue like when you are a priest in a church. You read the Bible, if you are Catholic or not. I'm not talking about, please, the people don't understand wrong. I mean, I'm not talking about different kinds of, Catholic or Romanic. No. I'm talking about an example in a church. You have a priest, and every day he's reading the Bible. Maybe he repeats some of the pages of the Bible in the next week, and we have to do the same, because we have to teach them about the importance of the industry. And maybe instead they are not in the same position when they are retired, they become influencers for the newcomers. And they can talk with them about the importance that our industry has, not only, as you said, in the economic impact, also beyond the economic impact. That was very clear when GIMIC published in July 2020 the famous manifesto, the industry manifesto, with the 15 areas that the meetings are involved and the importance that those areas have for all the countries in general. So we have to be like priests, and we have to continue doing this work, not only in the politician forums, also in our own works, in our own cities, in our own countries, and trying to organize this kind of conscience in the people every time.
So it's definitely a mind shift we all have to adopt in our business practices, and preach and preach and preach every single day, and not sit back. On that note, have you done anything in your business, in your organization, to change some of the business models, and anything else in the digital marketing sphere you have adopted?
Well, we have to be, we have to adapt our company to the new times. Sometimes we have never expected that this will come, but despite we have been doing very innovative things in the last month, not because the pandemic. With the pandemic, we have to go very fast ahead in many areas, especially digital marketing, dedicated to our clients. And the client is very vast. When I'm talking about clients, I'm not talking also about hosted buyers, business buyers. I'm talking about the exhibitors, our clients, and all the suppliers in general. And you know that one of the things that happens was that we have to join a strong team with people inside the company and outside the country, with outsourcing companies, especially from technology, but from other areas. And we have been collaborating together. And we have been working together, because this is a problem that is a sharing problem, and we cannot face only individual. We have to make with groups, working with groups. And this was a good lesson for us, because despite we have been working with a nice group of resources, human resources, at the same time, we have incorporated new ones with different areas. And we have to work, and you will, maybe some of the audience will smile, but also with psychologists, people, trying to understand really what the people was expecting, because it's virtual, it's not easy. To be joining in our own offices, to have a TV studio, to have podcasts, to have many things that in the past we were not using, producing new content for the people, was really to keep you alive with your business and be in contact because you cannot lose the contact. And the same happened with the destinations. If you lose contact with your clients, you are losing brand positioning. And the same happened with our company. You cannot lose your brand positioning in the market. So this exchange with new products, with new digital content, with big teams, different teams, I will say multitask teams, was something that we apply and very deep.
I mean, here, that's what we have to do. Collaboration is the key word, definitely, for us to move beyond the situation we're in. And as we wrap up today's live chat, would you like to share anything with our audience? Or since we are called What's Cooking, do you want to share a recipe? I know we chatted before the show and you were making pizza, and it comes with a story.
Because we know each other from many years ago, and also from some people that is in the audience, we know each other for many years, and my passions are every time I mention them is my family first, of course, is passion. Then I love cooking, I love sports, and I love reading. Those are my passions, and cooking is wonderful. I mean, my father was Italian. I learned a lot about my father because he loved the kitchen. And I have many recipes. Yesterday I have been doing pizzas, but for example, I love fish. And I can share a recipe of fish. The sole fish, the white fish, is very nice and very simple one. For example, you take an oven roasting pan, okay, for the oven. You'll put olive oil, just olive oil. Then you put a slice tomatoes and onions, just that. And then you put on this bed, you put salt, pepper, parsley, okay? And then you put the salt on the top. And then you go again with pepper, with parsley again, with the other one that I don't remember now the name, but I think is chopped coriander, the coriander, okay? A cup of white wine, a little salt on the top, okay? And you put in the oven for about 25 minutes, and it's ready. And it's delicious and very healthy. So I'm not giving a lesson of kitchen, but it's a very simple recipe, and it's very nice, and a very tasty one.
I think you got everybody in the audience hungry. Steve, our North American chair, he was a bit delayed, but just got here in time to hear your recipe. And I think everybody's making fish in the coming days. That sounded simple and delicious. Thank you so much, Arnaldo, for coming and joining us today. Thank you, everybody, for listening in. It has been a great pleasure having you. And as you said, we are going a long way back. Those were the days when we were dancing at the football stadium in Korea in 2000.
Korea, yes. I still have the pictures. We have been all of us dancing a lot there in the stadium.
Yes, those were the days. For anybody who wants to learn more about FIEXPO and get in touch with Arnaldo, you're welcome to do so via the website fiexpolatinamerica.com. And for anybody who does want to come as a guest on one of our future shows, please feel free to email us at xenia.p@icaworld.org. Thank you again, everybody, and thank you, Arnaldo, for coming. Bye-bye.
Hey, bye.